On the morning of Taishins, Europe held its breath. For weeks, the continent had been trembling after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo. Diplomats had argued, telegrams had flown between emperors and kings, and ultimatums had been delivered with cold precision. Now, the waiting was over. In the imperial capital of Vienna, clerks carried a document sealed with the authority of Franz Joseph I of Austria. It was a declaration of war against Serbia. Church bells rang. Newspapers rushed out special editions. Crowds gathered in the streets, some cheering, some silent, some afraid. Many believed it would be a short, glorious conflict. Few understood they were witnessing the first crack in the foundation of an old world. At 11 a.m., the message reached Belgrade. Along the banks of the river Sava, Austro-Hungarian artillery crews received their orders. Across the water lay Belgrade, quiet under the heavy summer sky. Then, as dusk approached, the first shells were fired. The thunder of artillery shattered the air. Buildings shook. Civilians ran through the streets as explosions lit the horizon in violent flashes. The war had begun, not with marching bands, but with fire and steel. Serbian troops scrambled to defensive positions. Smoke drifted over the river. Telegraph operators tapped frantically, sending word to allies. What had been a regional crisis only hours before was now open warfare. Far to the north, in Berlin, leaders in the court of Wilhelm II watched events unfold. Germany had pledged support to Austria-Hungary. Russia, protector of Serbia, was mobilizing. France stood by Russia. Britain was uneasy, but not yet committed. The alliance system, rigid and unforgiving, began to tighten like a trap. Railway stations across Europe filled with reservists. Posters calling men to arms were pasted onto walls overnight. Mothers embraced sons. Sweethearts wept beside departing trains. Many soldiers waved their caps and laughed, confident they would be home by Christmas. They would not. On that first day, no one used the phrase World War. It was simply another European war. Tragic, yes, but familiar in a continent shaped by centuries of conflict. Yet, beneath the cheering crowds and patriotic speeches, something darker stirred. Industrial power and modern weaponry waited in factories and arsenals. Machine guns, heavy artillery, poison gas, tools of destruction beyond anything Europe had seen, stood ready. By nightfall on July 28, 1914, the old order had stepped off a cliff. Empires that had ruled for centuries, Austro-Hungarian, German, Russian, Ottoman, had unknowingly begun their final chapter. Millions of lives had already been placed in the balance. The first day of World War I did not end with victory parades or decisive battles. It ended with smoke rising over Belgrade, telegram wires humming across Europe, and a continent marching confidently, blindly, into catastrophe.